Okay, very good. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to call to order the July meeting of the Parks and Recreation Commission for the commissioners. Great to see you all. We're going to begin with roll call this evening. And well, let's go in alphabetical order of our last names just to make it straightforward. So I think that would be Vice Chair Baskin to start us off with roll call.
Jennifer Baskin, present.
Mark Bryman, here.
Peter Diepenbrock here.
Christopher Harris, present.
Jennifer Johnson.
Sarah Staley Shank, present.
Terrific. That was our one and only cognitive test of the evening. Great. Well, let's check in with public comment. Do we have any public comment this evening?
We do not at this time.
Okay, well then let's continue on with the agenda and move right into presentations. We're going to begin this evening with a presentation on the child care and summer camp reactivation.
Hi, everyone. My name is Natalie Bonham. I'm one of the recreation supervisors here at the city, and I will be providing the childcare reactivation presentation for you guys. So Linda, are you going to share my screen or?
Linda, your microphone's muted.
Not sure. Am I able to do it now, Linda, you think?
Is it not letting you?
No, I just wanted to make sure I have authorization. I think it'll let me know. There we go. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. I'm glad we're in the right spot. All right, like I said, my name is Natalie Bonham. I'm the recreation supervisor here for the City of Menlo Park, one of the 3 recreation supervisors. And so I'll provide you with the update on how our childcare programs are going. So we have reopened our 3 summer camps, Camp Menlo, Menlo Mania, and Munchkin Mania. We've also reopened our 2 preschool programs, Bellhaven Child Development Center, or BHCDC, and Menlo Children's Center, or MCC. And I'll provide you with an update for each one. But just before I do that, I wanted to just give you some basic standards that all the childcare programs are kind of going under right now. Each program is working with cohorts of 12 children with 2 staff, no matter if it's summer camp or preschool. The preschool cohorts are maintaining a 3 weeks standard cohort stabilization group for 3 weeks prior to enrolling any new children. Our summer camps are only offering 4 weeks of service this year, so that cohort has stayed stable for the 4 weeks. And the 4 weeks for summer camp was July 6th through July 31st, so the month of July. We created new childcare reactivation guidelines that updated our various policies and procedures to help maintain the COVID safety standards. Most of the programs are outdoors as much as possible, so we've encouraged our staff to work outside as much as possible. That would be lunch or activities or anything as much as possible outside. We've incorporated frequent hand washing into our schedules more so than it was prior. toys or various materials that the children are using throughout the day are sanitized after every use. We have begun to sanitize our playgrounds daily, is with a special playground cleaner that we have used at all our sites. For the drop-offs and pickups, we have separate locations based upon the cohorts. So each cohort has a different drop-off and pickup location for the parents to come. For the summer camps, the children are kind of walking up to the drop-off locations, where the preschool programs, the parents are actually escorting the children to the drop-off locations. So it's a little different just based on ages, because the preschool children aren't really old enough to get themselves out of their car themselves. We're also doing staggered drop-off and pickup times to encourage the distancing. So we have set scheduled for each family on when they can pick up and when they can drop off. Staff is wearing face masks at all times, indoors and outdoors. Children in the summer camps, again, are a little older, so they're wearing face masks indoors. Outdoors, we're not requiring it. We're giving them a break outside. But the preschool children are not wearing masks just because of the age of the children. They're a little younger and they're not able to keep it on as much. But in general, all the families are following all the protocols very well, and we've had very compliant families, which has been very helpful for everything. So that's kind of general. So I'm going to kind of break down to where the various programs are open. So I'm going to start with Camp Menlo, which is located in our Belhaven campus. We have cohorts in our Belhaven Youth Center and Onetta Harris Community Center. The Youth Center is normally where we would hold camp, but because of the cohorts and the needing of the distancing, they're using various rooms for other cohorts in Onetta Harris Community Center. The children are ages from kindergarten through 5th grade, so it's about 6 years old, 5 to 6 years old, to 10 to 11 years old. They reactivated on July 6th. Currently, they are running 3 cohorts with 36 children, which is very good. They've had a good turnout as far as need for the program. We have 6 recreation leaders running that camp, 2 in each cohort, and the scheduled end date for this program will be July 31st. I should mention that I didn't put that in here, but the hours of the programs are a little shorter. So camps are running 8 to 3:30, and I'll talk about each preschool is a little bit different, but all camps are 8 to 3:30, except for Maniac. I'll go into that, or Munchkin, excuse me. So this is our Menlo Maniac camp. This is the one that is run at Menlo Children's Center, same age group as the previous camp, same reactivation date. We have a little bit of a lower enrollment. We have 7 children in our camp, and we're running only 1 cohort with 2 camp leaders. The hours for this program is the same as as Camp Menlo, as 8 to 3:30. So we're running that. This is our Munchkin Mania. This is our camp that used to run out of the Arriaga Recreation Center. We moved it over to Menlo Children's Center just so that we weren't reactivating several buildings, and we're using one of the preschool classrooms that currently is not reactivated, because this camp is for preschool children 3 to 5. Same reactivation date, July 6th. In this camp we have 6 children, 1 cohort, and 2 leaders. This is our part day camp, so it's running 8 to 12. So, or excuse me, 8:30 to 12. So it's 3.5 hours, and their scheduled end date is July 31st as well. I'm going to go into our preschool program. So Belhaven Child Development Center is located in our Belhaven campus on Ivy Drive. Their ages are 3 to 5. They also reactivated on July 6th. They currently have 30 children enrolled and 3 cohorts, so 3 classrooms are running. This program has 4 classrooms, so their capacity will be 48. Currently we have 9 staff there, and the next scheduled round for children to be enrolled is next Monday. So the programs will be open 3 weeks at that point, and they are scheduled to enroll new children starting on Monday and to reactivate the 4th classroom. So this program has 4 classrooms. Currently 3 are activated. The 4th one will be activated this coming Monday with new children. I don't believe they'll be at 48 capacity on Monday, but getting closer to the capacity of 48. And then finally, Menlo Children's Center is our other preschool program on the Burgess campus. Their ages are 18 months to 5 years old. We reactivated on this past Monday. We currently have 22 children enrolled, 3 cohorts, and the 3 classrooms are open. The capacity of the program is a little less because there's 3 classrooms, so we're at 36 capacity with 6 children. And we have scheduled to have new children enrolled on August 10th, which will be the 3 weeks after the start date for this program. So this program opened a little later than the others. For both preschool programs, Menlo, let me back up, is Belhaven Child Development Center is running 7:30 to 4:45. They normally would have been 7:30 to 5:30. So they're a little shorter to help with the cleaning at the end of the day. Staff has to do a lot of the cleaning that needs to happen throughout the classroom. And then Menlo Children's Center is running 8 to 5. They normally would have been 8 to 6. So we kind of cut the preschool programs down by an hour to allow for staff time to clean the various areas of the classrooms and provide some regular sanitizing needs for the programs. And that's kind of all I have for that. Just kind of give it an opportunity for questions if anybody has any questions for me.
Mark Bryman. Oh, you just muted yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Just a quick question about whether or not there's any real attempt to keep the children sort of at a social distance during any of this, and especially really outside if they're not wearing masks.
Yeah, so I didn't provide,
Yeah.
sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, I was just going to say it's a tough thing to sort of police, as it were, but I'm just wondering what the approach is.
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you for that. The children we have separated the classrooms out to have different areas as far as children being allowed in different parts of the classroom. For example, the preschool classrooms have marked off areas to make sure that we're not allowing more than kind of 2 children per classroom area. Each classroom is divided up against like a block area or a house area or a library area. So we're kind of trying to keep 2 children per area in the classroom. And then when we're outside, we're kind of marking, or not marking, but allowing them some space if they're eating lunch on tables or little carpets or something, to try to provide the distance areas as much as we can. We are encouraging distance, but it's a little easier with the older kids, I'll say, because they're more perceptive to that. The preschoolers, it's more difficult, but again, that's why we are allowing for the 12 cohorts to keep the stable groups. It's to keep that group stable, to create almost like a family connection for that. So that's the idea. For summer camp, we're using beach towels to keep the distance. So we're having them sit outside and eat lunch and on a beach towel, and that's allowing for the 6 feet.
Sarah.
And Natalie, I'm Sarah Staley Shank. Thanks for your presentation. I have a couple questions, and I'll just rattle them off. And if you forget, I was wondering if we're able to accommodate all of the families who have been interested. I wondered if there's any prioritization taking place for essential workers, or if that has come into play. And then I was also just wondering if we provide financial scholarship or assistance for those who may be more pressed for our services.
Sure, thank you for your questions. To answer the first question, we did reach out to all of our previously enrolled in families, and so to see what their interest was in all of the programs. But we first let them know what the guidelines are and how the changes will occur. Many of the families that we started up were all the ones that were previously enrolled, specifically for preschool and for camp as well. And we were able to accommodate everybody that was interested. we did have families that at both Menlo Children's Center and Bellhaven Child Development Center that wanted a later start time. They weren't exactly ready. So we're giving them the opportunity after the 3 weeks to start in. So for Bellhaven Child Development Center, that would be July 27th. And for Menlo Children's Center, that would be August 10th. So some of the families are deciding to start 3 weeks later, but we were able to accommodate everyone that was previously enrolled or interested in the program. Was that answering your first question, I believe? And the second question, was it the scholarships, or did I miss a question? I'm sorry.
One was about essential worker families and the other one was about scholarships and financial aid.
Yeah, so essential workers, I haven't at Menlo Children's Center had too many requests because of essential workers, but again, I think because we were able to accommodate everyone, if everyone was an essential worker, we're able to accommodate and have them in. I think Bellhaven Child Development Center, there definitely is more essential workers. But since, again, we're able to accommodate all of them, I think we've established that need and able to reach out to them. As far as financial aid, Bellhaven Child Development Center is on a sliding scale based on family size and income, so they are already subsidized at that site. For Menlo Children's Center, because the price went up, I've had a couple parents question me about that, but nobody has specifically reached out and said flat out that I want a scholarship or that I need a scholarship as of yet. Now, I don't know if that will change as time goes on, because maybe they're able to accommodate the price increase right now, but maybe it might be adjusted as future months come up. But as of right now, nobody has officially said to us that they need a scholarship or need some financial support.
Natalie, great presentation. And I'm really curious about any issues, problems come up. I mean, you've had to control for so much. I'm curious about what kinds of things have come up that you've had to address.
I think the hardest thing for us, which is we're all very much trained in what's best for children and what is how they learn in their best environments. And Natalia Jones and I are both overseeing childcare, and her and I both had a licensing visit based on virtual licensing visit, so that was interesting. And basically what they shared with us is kind of fighting all your natural urges or natural education standards that we provide with children. For example, letting them have access to everything in the classroom at all times. And that's just not the case anymore. We put out what we are able to sanitize and what we're able to rotate through on a regular basis. And that's just not normal early childhood education best standards. You know, you always want to encourage them to have access to every kind of material, providing a substantial amount of materials for the children. And then the socialization, you know, trying to teach them to stay away from each other and, you know, encourage that is pretty hard, you know, because that's what they're used to doing. So I think that's been the hardest hurdle for us, is just trying to edit the classrooms as much as we have edited them, as far as eliminating a lot of the materials, just due to the fact of the amount of sanitizing toys and cleaning routine is pretty substantial. So just trying to cut that down. I've just told the teachers just to stay outside as much as possible, because with this weather, I think we need to take advantage of it while we can and just allow the children to have fun outside. The children have been very, very, very happy to be, you know, able to access a playground, for example, because we can sanitize our playground. They're able to access that, which they haven't had access to that. So there is a lot of stuff they're getting that they haven't received over the past months. So I think even with the edits that we had to do for the rooms, they seem really happy, and the parents are very happy with the care that we're providing, because they see their children happy to come in. We've been very surprised that not a lot of children have been like, since they've been gone away from us for so long, there's not been too many tantrums or separation issues. They've been going in the classrooms fairly easily, which just shows how much they needed the interaction and the stimulation. So, but the hardest part is just breaking our normal standards of what we've been trained to do, and it's kind of going against our training in some aspects.
Yes, that must be really challenging to do on a daily basis, right? Your
Yes.
instinct tells you to get really close to share materials, even for the kids, to share materials with, with a friend.
Right.
And at the very tail end, you hit upon another question that I had, which is, what have been the bright spots for you?
The bright spots, is that what you said? I didn't hear you.
Yeah, the bright spots.
Well, the bright spots has been, I mean, the staff is ecstatic to be back. I mean, I think the staff has been missing them dearly. I mean, the staff is like a family with these kids. They've seen them grow and they haven't been able to see them. We provided distance learning while we were closed, but it's not the same as actually seeing your families and interacting with them. And so I think that's been the brightest spot, is just the positivity with the staff being able to be back in their elements. Of course, with the restrictions, it's not the same, but I mean, definitely they're very happy to be back. And the families, have been very gracious for us reopening, able to reopening, how we've been reopening. They've been very gracious. The families that have come back are so thankful that we have opened. And we're getting questions about, can we celebrate birthdays, because we used to celebrate birthdays. And so Natalia and I are bouncing ideas back, like, what are you doing? How do we dance? Because that's not in our standards. We didn't write how to do a birthday, but it's important for families to have that in their programs. So, we'll talk amongst each other and just, making sure that both programs are aligned on how to do simple things like, can parents bring in treats for friends to celebrate their birthdays? So just trying to accommodate all those needs as much as we can is what's been really great for us.
Thanks, Natalie.
Yeah.
Any other questions, comments for Natalie? I think I can speak for everyone when I say it sounds really terrific. And it's so great that we can offer this opportunity to families in Menlo Park. So, and please pass on to your staff as well the appreciation of the commission. I think it's stellar.
Thank you so much. I will definitely pass that on. We're very, very excited as well. Thank you so much for having me, and have a nice evening.
Thanks, Natalie.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move forward into regular business. And well, the last meeting that we had, that was actually a full regular commission meeting with an agenda, right, was way back February 26th. And on that particular day, I was traveling, so I don't think I was at this meeting. Would you please take a moment and look at that agenda and refresh yourselves and see if there's any amendments that you would like to make to this agenda?
Wait, where is that agenda? Was it
So
emailed?
if you have the PDF of of tonight's agenda, you can actually, there's a link in the agenda where you can click on the
Okay.
agenda.
I think Chris means the minutes.
That's right. I am referring to the meeting minutes. Thank you, Jennifer.
From February.
From
Yeah.
February. That's right. And so under regular business, there should be a link. If that's not immediately available to you, you can also go to the city website on the commissioner page.
There's a link from the current agenda if you're pulling up the electronic version of the current agenda.
And I'll wait just a moment and then I'll ask if folks are ready. Okay, has everyone had a chance to review?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Are there any amendments to this set of meeting minutes? Okay, if not, is there someone who can make a motion for us to approve these minutes? Jennifer?
Jennifer Baskin, I make a motion to approve the minutes from the February 26, 2020 meeting.
Very good. And do we have a second?
I'll
Jennifer
second.
Johnson, I second.
Okay, very good. The motion's been made and seconded. Let's hold a vote to approve these minutes. All those who approve, please raise your hand. And if you could hold your hand up just for a moment. Linda, you're going to be confirming the hand count. Is that right?
Yes, I do see all of them have their hand up except for you, Christopher.
And I'm going to abstain. I think I was in DC. I was traveling. Okay, very good. The minutes are approved. Very good. Thank you, everyone. Okay, and now to perhaps the most exciting part of our business meeting this evening. We're going to select our new Parks and Recreation Commission chair and vice chair for this upcoming year. We do have some commissioners who I think are relatively new and may not have been involved in a vote before for an appointment for commission chair or vice chair. And so let me just take a moment and give an overview. And then Linda, if there's anything that I forget and you feel like it would be important for commissioners to know, please feel free to jump in. So this vote is held annually. The appointment is for a year. Typically it's around May. It's in early spring when we hold this vote. We were not able to hold this vote. And so actually Jennifer and I have had an extension in our role. Tonight what we'll do is we'll begin with the actual seat for chair of the commission. And once we open it up, anyone on the commission can make a motion to put forth a candidate for that position. If someone seconds that motion, then that commission member becomes a candidate that we can vote upon. We don't vote right away. We pause and we wait and see if there's another motion. And so one or more commissioners can be put forth for us to vote on. Whether it's one or two people, once we figure that out, we then pause again for discussion. And that is if anyone would like to make a comment before we vote, you are invited to make a comment. And then after that, then we actually hold the vote for chair. Mark, you have a clarification?
Yes, Mark Bryman here. Christopher, I had a question about typical protocol. I'm one of the newbies that you had sort of recommended or referenced, I should say.
Yeah.
I think I was around for my first vote. Is there a certain protocol that the vice chair tends to become the chairperson? Is that how we have done it in the past?
You know, there is, just so folks know that there is no requirement for that to happen. However, traditionally, you know, historically, for the time that I've been on the commission, and that's for over I think I'm in my 7th year now, 2014. That has always been almost always been the case. That's been predominantly what has happened. But I should say that has not always been the case. There's been some instances, right? There can be an instance where a vice chair may opt out, or there could be another circumstance that comes up. And so, however, I will say that serving as a vice chair is a great opportunity to get prepared to take the helm. Peter.
Do we have any kind of discussion to see who's interested in doing this, or how does that work?
We, unfortunately, no, we don't have an opening discussion for, say, like, to have an open conversation. That discussion happens once someone is put forth as a candidate.
I see.
Yes. Yeah. Linda, is there, one other thing I should mention, that once we have the vote and we have a new chair, I immediately step aside, right? I'm out. And so the person who steps in then handles the vote for the vice chair. So, Linda, did I get this right? Is there anything to add?
No, you said it all. Perfect.
Okay, and we have one more hand, Sarah.
Might I ask another question? I gathered from the email pre-meeting communications, Adrian, that are we merging with another commission, and does that adjust our leadership and or remit as a team, or did I misunderstand?
No, just the department merged, but the
The
commission
department. Okay,
right now are
thank you.
separate. Yeah.
Thank you. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, very good question. Thanks, Sarah. Okay, if there's no more clarifications that we can provide, if people feel set, we'll then open up the first round, which is for someone to make a motion for commission chair.
Go
Sarah?
ahead, Sarah.
I make a motion. This is Sarah Staley Shank. I make a motion to nominate Jennifer Baskin as our commission chair.
I second Jennifer Johnson. I second that nomination.
Okay, so we have our first motion for Jennifer Baskin to serve as chair of the Parks and Recreation Commission, and we have a second to that motion from Jennifer Johnson. Is there anyone else who would like to make a motion at this time? Are you frozen? No, just kidding.
Jennifer, are you willing?
I am willing and I accept the nomination.
Okay, fantastic. And that opens up the discussion portion. And so great to confirm that Jennifer has interest. My one comment is that Jennifer has been a great vice chair. She's always been supportive. She's jumped in when I've not been able to attend. So I'm really excited about the potential opportunity for you, Jennifer.
So we will need to take a vote on that.
Yeah, I was waiting to see if anyone else wanted to jump in and put any accolades on Jennifer.
She's amazing. We love her. We want to continue.
She's a big deal, really big deal.
She's a big deal. Yes, yes. Okay, very good. Well, let's go ahead now. I'm going to close the discussion and open up for voting. All of those in favor for Jennifer Baskin to serve as our next chair, please raise your hand. Oh, my hand might disappear. I better.
Oh yeah. And so if I can just go, I will call out names and then you will say yes if or no if you agree to the motion. Okay.
Okay,
Peter?
very good.
Yeah. Peter?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Christopher?
Yes.
Jennifer Johnson?
Yes.
And Mark Brandon.
Yay.
All right, very, very good. It's official. Jennifer, I'm going to hand the gavel over to you.
I'm catching it. Are you throwing it? Okay. Got it. So thank you, everyone. Appreciate the nomination and your trust in me for the next, I suppose it's about 10 months now, or, oh no, through next May. So now for the fun part, let me just preface this. Firstly, thank you, Chris. I've actually served under your chairmanship for 2 years, I think, because you're on your second term, I think at least. And Jennifer Johnson and I are just starting our second term. So it's a nice, happy family going through this. I will say that I'll echo his thoughts. Serving as vice chair is a really great way to prepare yourself for the following year. And, you know, I've been lucky to have a couple of opportunities to serve as chair during that time, some of which in the council chambers, some spicier meetings than others. So it's been really fun. With that being said, is there anyone who would like to make a nomination for this wonderful position of vice chair? And you can nominate yourself, I believe, correct, as well?
Jennifer Johnson, and that is absolutely not what I'm doing. I nominate Sarah because it's about time.
I second that motion.
Oh, Sarah, are you willing?
Oh yeah, I'm absolutely willing.
And do we have any other nominations before we open this up to discussion? well, this is looking like we'll start the discussion. I think Sarah's been an amazing contributor to the commission with a very different point of view and very important points of view in terms of what we could be doing better in terms of communication and marketing and PR, and a lot of the things that will be very important through this upcoming year where the environment has greatly changed. So we really welcome your expertise from your career and your past work experience.
And I would just add, Sarah always makes these really thoughtful comments, right? Clearly a deep thinker. I think just a wonderful contributor to the commission.
Yeah, I think Sarah will be awesome. Just you always speak your mind and let everyone know exactly what you're thinking, and you ask great questions, and I think you'll be awesome.
Mark?
Mark Bryman, I cannot think of a better choice.
It's very kind. Thank you all.
Great. So I think we're ready to, if there are no other nominations or objections, we can hold a vote now on Sarah Staley-Schenk for vice chair.
Actually, sorry to interrupt, but Chris did not mention his name when he did the second. So if we can just do the second and the motion and the
I'm
second
so sorry.
again.
I just threw away with the formalities as soon as I
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, so if we could just.
This is Christopher Harris, and I second the motion for Sarah to serve as vice chair.
And now, Linda, can I call for a motion? I can call for a motion to vote on Sarah Staley-Schenk for vice chair.
Yes. So if I will call out your names, and then you can either say yes or no. Okay. Commissioner Diepenbrook.
Yes.
Commissioner Staley-Schenk.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Sure.
Sorry.
Sure.
Commissioner Harris.
I had a glitch. Was my name called?
Yes, Commissioner Harris.
This is awkward. Yes, this is a yes vote.
Chair Baskin.
Yes.
Chair Bryman. I'm sorry, Commissioner Bryman.
Slow down, Tiger. Mark Bryman, yes.
Okay, and Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Okay.
Congrats. Welcome aboard. So, welcome. We got that done, the exciting part. So now we can go back, and this will be interesting. Regular business E3 to approve the 2018-2020 work plan update and achievements to the City Council. So that was, if everyone had a chance to look at it, if you click on the blue link, the attachment is there. And those are the work plan goals and achievements for that fiscal year. And these were items where we had come up with our goals, 1 through 4, and below that were the achievements. So I think first we can see if, as we've done in the past, if there are any edits or additions. I know I went through and wanted to comment on a couple of them. Adrian, will we just start with any edits or additions first?
Sure, and any changes that we make, we will make those edits, and then that will be what goes to the council as a report.
Gotcha. And we are not, just to be clear, we are not editing the darker column, you know, the idea of providing high quality inclusive programs or things like that, because we've already fine-tuned those.
However, this, and it was so long ago, this was actually the document we started the retreat off with in March. So we kind of did take a look at it. And then what we did was we worked from this to edit our goals to start building out the 2021 work plan, which we did not finish. So we will be doing that next meeting. And then I would imagine, just given everything that's happening and just how our world has changed. A lot of those will change. One definite addition for the next meeting would be an item around communication. Vice Chair Shank actually put that one forward. So that was one we had decided on at the last retreat already. But beyond that, we'll have a study session on it to adjust for 2021.
Okay. Yeah, because these are actually, I mean, most of this is the past year.
Yeah.
So a couple of items I had just from reading this, under number 2, I wasn't sure if this was included where we were maintaining and upgrading of facilities. I noticed that we completed and reopened the renovation of the Nealon Park tennis courts. So I don't know if that was included somewhere or I hadn't seen it, if that would be included here.
And I believe the tennis courts just happened after June. I mean,
It
happened
did.
after it happened this past month.
Okay.
So that might go into next month, but yes.
Okay.
Good eye on that.
Thank you for the clarification. And then, yes, the only other areas, wow, we have it on our mind with other areas and issues addressed by the commission were, how can we increase our efforts to be more effective and inclusive in improving our marketing and communications. So I think a lot of us are thinking the same thing. Those were just 2 comments I had. If anyone else has any additions or edits to this document.
Adrian, I had a question. I remember that there was discussion at the last couple of meetings where we were actually in person about the Facebook venture in the Bellhaven neighborhood. Had there already been a meeting with a needs assessment, with a preference assessment in the community?
Regarding the new project?
Yes.
Yes. So
I thought that happened before our last meeting.
yeah, so they've done pretty extensive outreach in the neighborhood to inform the design and kind of how they're going to build out the programs in the building. So yes, that was included and they have it documented. They have actually the feedback documented from the different focus groups they had.
I guess my question was, would that be something that should be included in this document since it occurred before June?
Oh, I think we could add it. Although a lot of that public engagement process was headed through Facebook, so that would be the only thing. But
Okay.
the city definitely was in partnership. But yes.
Mark?
I just want to, Mark Bryman, I just want to suggest that item number 4, I've noticed that the little free libraries program seems to really be thriving. I can tell you that in my neighborhood alone, I think I'm completely surrounded by it. The house on the right, the house on the left, the house across the street. So that seems to be working quite well.
That's fantastic. And I think right now people are using it more than ever. So yeah.
This is Sarah Staley-Shank. I was just going to say to Jennifer Johnson's point, I do think though, Adrian, that if we were involved in initiatives or informing opinions related to work, even if they were not of our own initiation, I think that it's important to note that. I would just make sure that, because those aren't insignificant. So if that isn't reflected here,
Okay.
I think it's noteworthy, right? So
I will add it. Yep.
Okay,
Definitely. Thank you.
Do we have any other comments, questions, concern over this, our work plan goals for the 2018-2020 fiscal year? Now, if we don't, we will have to then, so this will then go to council, correct? So we'll want to make a motion, have someone make a motion to approve the 2018-2020 work plan and achievements to be presented to the city council. So would anyone like to make a motion to approve? Christopher?
This is Sarah Staley-Sank. I make a motion that we approve and take these forward to present to the council.
Thank you, Sarah. And Christopher Harris?
This is Christopher Harris, and I second that motion.
Hi, Sean.
Hi, Jennifer. Sean Reinhardt, Library and Community Services Director. I would just remind the chair and the commission that you might want to take public comment or call for public comment before you actually take a vote on this item.
Yeah.
Oh.
So so if there is anyone from the public that would like to make a public comment, you can go ahead and use your raise hand feature now, and I will unmute your microphone and you will have 3 minutes to address the commission. So we'll just give it a couple minutes here. Okay, I don't see anybody raising their hand. So we'll go ahead with the vote.
So at this point, we can move ahead with the vote?
Correct. Yeah, I don't
Okay,
see anybody
great.
raising their hand. Yeah.
So all those in favor of approving the work plan goals and achievements for the fiscal year 2018-2020 to be presented to City Council?
Okay, and I will do a name call again. So just say yes or no if you agree with the motion. Chair Baskin?
Yes.
Vice Chair Staley-Shank?
Yes.
Commissioner Bryman?
Approved.
Commissioner Diepenbrock?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris?
Yes.
And Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Great, thank you. It's good to see this, and I'm sure given the environment, the next plan goals are going to have some other interesting components to them. Moving along, reports and announcements. Commissioner report is assigned to Dana Payne this meeting, but I see she's not here. Did she have a baby?
She's having her baby next week. So
Oh, that's great.
I think she's just wrapping things up. But I did ask, and if anyone else has any reports regarding, parks or recreations or facilities, during the closure or since May, anyone else can bring that up. So.
Does anyone else have any comments they would like to share with the group during this time?
I did have a question. Like you said, that the tennis courts got resurfaced and they look amazing. I'm just curious why the one isolated tennis court was not done. Does anyone know the answer to that one, Adrian? Or?
I believe that is coming. Is that right, Sean? Do you know? I think they're doing all of them, and they were doing them in stages. But
Is this referencing the Nylon courts?
Yeah, Nylon, yeah.
Yeah, I think that last one, I think they just wrapped up work on that last one last week.
Okay.
It is
So
done.
it was kind of bringing up the rear. It was trailing behind, but it should be done by now.
Gotcha. Okay, great. Okay, great. Thanks.
Mark?
Yeah, just some further clarification on that. I know there was kind of a surface job done, maybe it was a year ago or so. We're talking about an upgrade since then, correct? Okay, good.
Yes.
Thank you.
And I think that last court required some additional preparatory work in order to complete the resurfacing properly, and that's why it took a little longer.
Gotcha. Okay.
Jennifer Johnson, did you have some comments you wanted to add as well? I thought I saw a hand. I just wanted to make sure.
Oh, thank you. I was just wondering, because I know we had gotten some requests from the public to make one of the courts into a pickleball court. So I wasn't sure if that was part of the delay, but apparently not.
So we are moving, pickleball will be coming next, at our next meeting, and we'll do a presentation too. And that's what we had decided before the break, I think at the February meeting. Commissioner Diepenbrock brought it up during his commissioner's report. So we didn't have them come tonight, but they will come at the next meeting.
Okay. Oops.
It's Sarah Staley-Shank. I just wanted to just sort of comment on the observations that I'm sure many of us have made actively or passively, just how important it is that we have open spaces that enable our community to decompress, find outdoor space, both for physical and mental health. I'm really grateful that our city was able to activate on in ways that allowed our community to really continue to be at one with all of the green spaces and open space and services that we provide. I know it's been a great benefit to all ages and stages and demographics in a way that I think has been very, very rewarding in times of incredible struggle. If you take a look at the sort of economic analysis of what's going on in our nation, number of people are looking for homes with yards and more space and ways to just kind of decompress after being so cooped up. And so I just hope we can continue to be as thoughtful and safe, but also just really thoughtful about what's going on in our community and how to provide as much help for one another through our resources as possible.
Christopher, did you have something to add as well?
I did. Thank you, Jennifer. So this one is just, I've sent a few emails out about this already, but over the past several months, we've had folks call out, in particular, Sharon Park and concerns about health and safety in the park. And that's the only park really that's consistently come up. And I don't know if there's much the city can actually do about that. But there have been several folks that use the Sharon Park who have been concerned about folks not wearing masks and following the social distancing or the physical distancing. So I just want to call that out. I really don't know what the city can do other than make sure that the signs are up. Sean, is there anything that can be done?
Thank you, Commissioner Harris, and that is a good observation. We've become aware, of this being some kind of an ongoing concern, and so some of the steps we're going to be taking here in the next week or two are really amping up the signage at the parks to really emphasize for folks that this is a community effort to stop the spread of COVID-19, to protect those who are most vulnerable among us from the effects of the virus, reiterating the guidelines and rules at the parks related to maintaining social distancing, the importance of face coverings, whether you're at the park or whether you're anywhere else in the community. So to the great, and I think we'll see kind of a saturation campaign on that, because it has become something that in recent weeks in particular seems to have cropped up more and more with very well-placed concerns from residents who, just don't want to see the virus spread. And there does seem to be a little bit of laxness here and there. It's more prevalent in some locations than others. And so, we're going to focus that education effort in those areas. And I think Commissioner Shank also kind of raised this point. It's important that these facilities remain accessible to all, especially now. And the last thing we want to do is get in a situation where we'd have to shut them down. No one wants that. And I think that's the other sort of thing that's kind of lurking out there that we want to educate people about, that, conforming to these rules enables us to keep these facilities open, which is what we all want. So thank you for bringing that up. It's really important.
Yeah, I use that park quite a bit, and I will say it's younger kids in the evening that that seem to be violating the rules. Yeah. So.
Jennifer Johnson.
Hi. I drive by Sharon Park multiple times a day. We live right down the street from there. And we stopped using the park on March 17th because no one was following the rules that were in place for mask wearing or social distancing. Large groups of people, well, large and small groups of people have been gathering there for 4 months. I submitted a comment about this, that we have complaints from residents on the other side of Menlo Park who are being stopped by police and told to go home when they're not violating any restrictions at all. And we have all of this going on at Sharon Park, and I have not once seen anyone from the Parks Department or from the police out there. There are 3-foot tall signs all around the park, and people are still violating it. You know, that's our neighborhood park, and I haven't been able to take my son there for 4 months because the problems are so extensive. It is true that there are groups of adolescents who are gathering, not wearing masks, hugging and kissing each other, but that's not exclusively the issue. There are families who are gathering and not wearing masks, you know, every age. I mean, I've seen elderly people walking around the park not wearing masks. And I think the fact that it's been left to go on for so long without being challenged has caused the problem to persist. There has been a slight decrease in those behaviors since the recent, you know, surge in cases began. But I drove by the park this afternoon, and I'm, you know, seeing the same thing. I've been disappointed by the city's response on the west side of town to that. And so anyway.
That's really excellent feedback. Thank you so much for sharing it in such detail. And you know, what you're observing clearly is something that needs to be addressed. And it sounds like maybe something beyond signs. So we'll definitely circle back with the city manager's office and code enforcement and a couple of other departments to see what we can do, especially if that seems to be one of the hot spots. I agree. Now is the time for us, I think, as a community to really refocus our efforts on changing those behaviors, especially right now with the virus kind of surging. We're at this kind of key inflection point, I think, in the trajectory of the virus. So thank you for that.
Mark, do you have a comment as well?
Yeah, I just wanted to suggest that never was there a time for any of us to be sort of blasé about this or asymptomatic and sort of proud of it. But I think, unfortunately, San Mateo County in general seems to have a very low rate. And I wonder if people, not so much then, I mean, if they're continuing to do it, that's one thing. But now they're sort of getting this message that in spite of this surge, we're still very low and people somehow are just not concerned about it. And I would agree that it's probably above and beyond what we likely can do, but we need to kind of alert those who can, in fact, sort of control or try to control or police the situation.
Yeah, Commissioner Bryman, that's a good observation. Thank you for making it. The guidelines and rules regarding COVID-19 health and safety precautions became very patchy and unclear. I think especially after the San Mateo County Health Officer basically sort of just lifted everything and said, we're just going to go with the state's guidelines. I believe that happened shortly before Memorial Day. And it did create quite a bit of confusion out there. You know, there's messaging that's out there that, you know, it's okay to be outside with no mask as long as you maintain social distance from others outside of your household. When it comes to things like playing basketball outside, The current actual rule that the county doesn't have one, it just refers to the state, and the current state rule is that you can go ahead and play with others who are in your household or in your social bubble. So there's a lot of like loopholes there that cause a lot of confusion and, you know, make it easy for people to say, well, I don't have to. And we're all human, and especially a group of humans and a community of humans, it becomes a slippery slope. So it is difficult. However, that's no reason to just say we shouldn't do anything. And so I think it's clear that more needs to be done at Sharon Park in particular. The skate park at Burgess also has been a little bit of a concern lately. And there's a couple of other hot spots where we think some targeted, just sort of intervention with folks, just to kind of educate them and help them conform and understand what's at stake might be our next steps.
Jennifer Johnson.
Yeah, I just wanted to add something to that. I mean, obviously we are in San Mateo County, but we're right on the border with Santa Clara County. And, you know, I think this would be, I don't know, maybe you could be a little bit more lax if you were in, you know, Hillsborough or Millbrae or something, but we're constantly crossing back and forth. And I think Menlo Park needs to be probably close to as vigilant as Palo Alto is at this point, just to try and do our, you know, just to try and do our part. And yeah, so I don't know if, you know, some presence of some people walking around and educating, you know, the public about this, or I don't know what would be, you know, the right response to this, but it'd be nice to see all of our numbers go back down.
It's good to hear people's comments on different areas of the city and things that we can be acting on as a commission and as the department. And I just kind of leave it with this, to circle back to what Sarah had mentioned. You know, this is a trying time for people mentally, physically, in all ways. And I think as long as we approach everything with a level of kindness and empathy, that we don't know people's home situations and what they're going through, that we want people to follow policies and what's out there, but also, as Sean mentioned, it's a slippery slope. And as long as we address all of this with kindness and empathy, I think we're doing our job, right? So without further ado, I think we're all extremely excited for F2, the Library and Community Services Department updates.
Hi there. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I was actually going to officially introduce Sean, but you guys all know him, and our new Library and Community Services Director. So I'm just going to go through really quickly some of the highlights from the report and add some other items that might be of interest. So since we last saw you, we dealt with a major budget deficit and a projected deficit. So for 1920, it was 8.8 million. 2021, we were trying to close the gap on 12.7 million. And with the community services department, and really all of the departments throughout the city, we took a 25% decrease in programs and staffing. And so what that looked like for us, and for folks that you might know, well, we merged the two departments. We froze the two coordinator positions at the two preschools. So those are preschool directors at both MCC and CDC. So Natalia Jones is stepping in and helping out, and same with Natalie Bonham, who you just saw earlier this evening. Our program staff at gymnastics, they were furloughed through January. So we'll be reevaluating that. As right now, things aren't looking very good. But our 7 staff at gymnastics were furloughed, and then we had to release all of our part-time staff. And so we have, you know, almost 200 part-time staff. So it was a major hit to our department. The city anticipates that all of our buildings, other than childcare, will be closed to the community centers until January. And then with this uptick, it's, you know, that's looking more reasonable. And then in terms of some of what did reopen, so on May 8th, we had reopened Bedwell Bayfront Park. And with that park, at the beginning, we started out with cutting half of the parking spots in half, just to kind of monitor the number of people coming through. But we were able to open that back up fully. We were having some monitoring at that park as well as Nealon Park, actually. So those two parks were being monitored. It was right around Easter time. It was a long time ago. Yes.
Adrian, I'm wondering what does monitoring mean? When you speak of that, what does that mean?
Sure. So it actually happened through our emergency operations. And at Bedwell Bayfront Park, we had our parking enforcement officers out there because people were parking along the side of the road. So at that time, we were actually closing off all of those spots in order to really monitor the capacity in the park. And then at both parks, we had ambassadors. So we had staff walking through, reminding people to social distance. And in some cases, they were distributing masks and just giving them polite warnings from afar about the social distancing guidelines. So
if I could just add, at that time, that form of monitoring was required by the county health order. And so that's one of the things that changed when the health order was lifted.
Interesting.
On June 10th, we were able to open both pools back up. So those are open. Recreation swim is not open, but lap swimming is, and by reservation. Our tennis courts, outdoor basketball courts, and skate parks opened on June 24th. And then some of the services that have happened during the closure, after council passed the budget and made a decision regarding childcare and camps, we actually reactivated those on July 6th. We had a couple weeks of kind of scrambling and getting that together, but we were able to open those. MCC opened on July 20th. The CDC opened on July 6th. So those all reopened, 2 camps and 2 preschools. Our senior services has been continuing with no interruption. So we closed the building, I think it was March 13th. So they have been continuing with food delivery to homebound seniors. And that number went up. I believe we started with 15, we're up to 75 now. And they get meal delivery 3 times a week, double meals. So they get it for the whole week. On Mondays, they also get a giant produce box that we get from Facebook. And then they do 2 food pantries per week. And both of our food pantries through Onetta Harris and the Senior Center have doubled in the 4 months. So we were serving about 100 people at the Senior Center. That's gone up to 200. At Onetta Harris, it was at about 300. We're serving 600 families. So the number has really gone up in the last 4 months. We haven't been able to utilize volunteers during the closure just because of some of the liability issues. So staff has really stepped up and everyone is jumping in to help with food distribution, which is great. And then in addition, Evita is delivering packets, activity packets to the seniors. So they have items to do at home like crafts and puzzles and games, as well as a handwritten letter writing campaign to them. So they get handwritten letters and then staff do over 100 wellness checks per week. So that's all happening. And then let's see, 2 other items. So we were really proud of staff because they were able to pivot. So after the closure, we looked at ways to kind of bring the community together. So we opened our virtual recreation center. Our staff has also hosted online community building events. So things like bingo and lotteria and different craft classes. And right now staff is working on, we have online classes happening. So I think we have 4 classes a week of gymnastics. They're all actually at capacity. So they're, pretty basic tumbling classes for kids. So we have some online classes that are launching. And in this next month, we're going to be relaunching outdoor fitness classes. So those will all be socially distanced fitness classes on the field with marked kind of like human parking spots. And we're going to bring some of the fitness classes with a max of 12 people outdoors. I think that is it. Yes. Does anyone have any questions? I mean, and then one focus for the future, which you will be getting a report on, is because it's going to be probably a long time before our seniors can come back, just our most, vulnerable in the population. We're really looking at ramping up a lot of the programs that we're offering them to bring the senior center to their home. So looking at a technology campaign and then getting the classes online and doing a lot of tech training to let them FaceTime their families and things like that, and loaning devices, as well as some book delivery to the homebound seniors.
Thank you, Adrian.
Thanks.
Does anyone have any questions for Adrian or Sean? Well, that was a lot.
Maybe I'll just take that opportunity then just to say I'm really feel so privileged and grateful to be working with the Parks and Rec Commission. Of course, Adrian will continue to serve as the liaison to the commission, but I'll be attending all of the meetings. And of course, both Adrian and I are a resource to you, especially in this really challenging time. As has been mentioned a couple of times, our departments did merge. I've been the library director in Menlo Park for the past 2 years. Been in local government for 20 years. Had in some previous organizations, quite a bit of work in social services. And so, although it's been a very, very challenging time with huge budget reductions and the pandemic, not to mention sort of the social upheaval and revolution that's taking place across the country and in our own community. There's still, bright spots and opportunities, and being able to work more closely with Adrian has been one of them. I just respect her greatly and just very impressed by her. And so just so fortunate to be working closely with her. And I've heard nothing but great things about the work of the Parks and Recreation Commission. There are a lot of commissions in the city, and not all of them work really well. And this is one of the ones that work really well. So really just fortunate to be among you. And that's my little soapbox speech, but I just wanted to share that with you before we broke tonight.
Mark?
John, it's Mark Bryman. Thank you so much. I just had a quick question, clarification. We have a city council liaison, and I'm wondering, are there now two, or does it happen to be the same city council person who's the liaison for both departments?
Well, there are two commissions sort of associated with the department. So there is a library commission, and there's the Parks and Recreation Commission, and they each have their own liaison assigned to them. At this time, those commissions are just continuing as they are, because they have their own roles and their own work. I don't know who the liaison is to either commission. To be honest, the liaisons, my experience has been they're not particularly active.
I believe ours is Ray Mueller, unless that's changed.
Yeah, and I think for the Library Commission, it's Council Member Kat Carlton. No, actually, it changed to Drew Combs, Vice Mayor Combs.
They're always rotating. Well, it's great to see everyone virtually. I don't know. I guess you all keep us posted as to when maybe we one day reactivate in person, but it's great to be reactivated. We're excited about getting to work again. And I'm really excited for us to try to help people maintain themselves outside in our parks. Because I think it's going to be a challenging fall as well. So thanks, everyone. And I guess I will adjourn the meeting.
Yeah, Jennifer, sorry, you will just need to say that the Parks and Recreation Commission meeting is adjourned and then mention the time.
The Parks and Recreation Commission meeting is adjourned at 7:50 p.m.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
Jennifer and Sarah.
Oh,
Bye.
thank you. Congrats, Sarah.
Bye, guys.
See everyone.
Okay, bye.
Bye.